Welcome Snoozy fam to another video where we scour the internet to find some of the weirdest, most wacky dreams out there. You won't want to miss today's episode. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content on dreams, nightmares, and all things sleep. Nobody's life is perfect. When life gets tough, talk to God about it. When life goes well, thank God for it. Don't feel afraid about your future, or you'll be spending eternity in hell. Be grateful for what you have, and good things will come. Today's story is inspired by a user on Reddit, and it's about her meeting God in her dream. Now, let the dreams begin. It was afternoon, and I was in the kitchen prepping my lunch. I looked out the window, and there were clouds everywhere. Luckily, it was Sunday, and I had nothing too important to do. I was mentally exhausted for the last few days because I was fighting with my best friend, Amy. We weren't talking to each other for the last 4 days. During our verbal spat, Amy said some nasty things to me. She said that her family was rich and my family was poor, and I could never match up with her class. It was because of Amy's mom that I continued to stay friends with her. Her mom loved me just like her own daughter. I lost my mother when I was 3 years old, and she always took care of me during my childhood. Whenever I cried thinking about my mother, Amy's mom would always be there to comfort me. I wondered why I had so much sadness in my life. My mother passed away really early, and then my father couldn't raise me because he didn't have enough money. One good thing was that Amy's mother loved and cared for me. As I finished my lunch, I laid in bed, and the warm blankets made me feel super cozy. Within minutes, I fell asleep. The dream that I had that day was one that I will never forget. I was standing in the middle of a well-groomed field. I looked around and there was nothing apart from a small house nearby. The sky above me was filled with big, beautiful white clouds with well-defined golden-tinted edges. The light was also different. It wasn't just ordinary daylight. Suddenly, the clouds in the sky parted to reveal God, our Father, all beautiful and majestic. The second the clouds separated, I knew something great would appear. It felt as if time had stopped, and everything felt extremely clear. God was wearing a white robe and a cloak. He had long white hair and a long white beard. God was old, but not in the human sense. He was ancient. He was looking down at a big open book that he was holding in his hands. I instinctively knew it was the book of life. Everything about him was incredibly beautiful, powerful, and majestic. The best comparison I can give is how a vast mountain range or a roaring ocean is stunning and radiates the kind of might that puts you in complete awe. It demands a tremendous reverence and the acute knowledge of how tiny and helpless you are compared to how strong nature is. Take that and multiply it by 1 billion. That is the closest way I can describe seeing God. But even with this might and power standing before me, I was not afraid. I felt completely safe. God then turned around as his cloak flew behind him. He closed his book and looked at me. I almost fell to my knees by the sheer gaze. Then he walked towards me with a big smile and hugged me. He had a twinkle in his eye, and he seemed happy to see me. And then he said, "Let's walk up to the nearby house." We then both walked into the house, and he told me that this room symbolizes my heart, and he would help me sort it out. We were going to find a suitable place to put everything in order to reorganize my heart. We sat down on the couch and went through my trash. We started with the different ways that people have hurt me. He asked to hand me my feelings about those wounds because they took up a lot of space in my heart. These emotions were words written in black ink, and they were inside a big, heavy picture frame. I gave God the words like pain, shame, anxious, helpless, hate, anger, and resentful. Then he told me to give him the words that described how I felt about hurting other people. I gave him the words like shame, regret, guilt, hopelessness, and sorrow. At that point, God had a huge stack of framed words in his arms. It was so high that I could barely see his face. But I got a sense that he was happy to carry the load off of me as he took it outside. We went through all those words again, and when he returned, he decided what to save. God explained that any bad memory or event we keep in our hearts will always be a part of who we are. So we should put them in their proper place and not give them a prominent area in our hearts. He told me that he took away the emotions surrounding these people and events so they couldn't hurt me anymore. They are just memories, and they don't define who I am. He told me that someday he might ask me to share these stories with people going through something similar, to encourage them or to help them heal. Now, my memories were depicted as photographs. God and I put them in their proper black leather photo albums. God then took me into a huge walk-in closet and introduced me to my new heart. It's like something you see on TV or in Oprah magazine. I put the photo album on the top shelf, and God explained that since I threw out the junk and put the memories in their place, I now had this wide open space for His grace and plenty of room for the gifts that He wanted me to have. Then, God hands me several beautifully wrapped packages. I opened the first package, and it was a beautiful gown with the word grace written on it. I took the ball gown and gently hung it into my new closet. I continued to open my gifts: forgiveness, wisdom, peace, love, laughter, joy, and health. Each word was written on bright, soft cotton t-shirts. I tried them on for size and danced around them. I loved the way they made me feel. I looked at God and thanked Him for all the gifts, and He pointed out that there's still plenty of room for more. Suddenly, I got a flashback of myself as a young girl, jumping into His arms and hugging Him tightly. The memory slowly faded, and then I opened my eyes for my dream. I realized that I had tears streaming down my face. I also physically felt different. It was like the Grinch. My heart grew 10 times the size that day. I had a conversation with God, and it was like years of therapy wrapped up into 20 minutes. I felt free and hopeful for the first time since I was a kid, and I haven't been the same since. I want to conclude by saying to all brokenhearted people to take comfort because God knows your heart. Be proud of who you are and never let the darkness overtake the light in our hearts. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click on that notification bell for more amazing content like this. Share this with a friend if you think they may need a little wake-up call. Thanks for watching, and until next time, sleep well.